A father's awakening when the wealthy businessman arrived home from his extended work trip. His entire world shattered in an instant. There before him stood his young daughter, no more than 6 years old, wearing a stained and torn pink outfit. She cradled her baby brother protectively in her tiny arms, her voice breaking as she whispered through tears, "Please don't hurt us anymore." In that devastating moment, the dark truth hidden within their home began to surface. At 43, Samuel Walker commanded an empire from his lavish office atop Central Park Tower in Manhattan's most prestigious district. His mahogany desk bore the weight of countless contracts and a gleaming golden fountain pen. Each document received his mechanical signature as crystal light danced off his expensive timepiece. His custom-tailored clothing draped perfectly across, his frame, Italian leather footwear polished to perfection beneath the desk. Every detail screamed wealth, achievement, and influence, the American dream personified. Yet beneath this facade of success, his soul remained utterly empty. Samuel had once experienced genuine happiness. Sarah, his beloved first wife, had been his guiding light. Emily, their precious daughter, used to chase butterflies through their yard, her chestnut curls dancing in the breeze. Then came Michael, their infant son, at just 8 months old, born during a time of profound grief. When Sarah departed this world due to complications following childbirth, Samuel felt his very essence drain away. Throughout those 8 lonely months, he had never once sat on the floor to play with Emily, never once cradled Michael in his embrace. Work became his escape-endless trips, paperwork and calculations, anything to flee from painful memories. During this dark period, Veronica entered their lives like a guardian angel. Once Sarah's dear friend, she arrived with grace and warmth, mending their broken home with her luminous smile. To Samuel, she represented salvation itself. While Sarah had been his light, Veronica became his redemption. She embraced both children, as though they were born from her own womb, tending to them with what appeared to be model maternal care. This gave Samuel comfort. He reasoned. At least my children have a woman's presence at home. This surely beats growing up with an emotionally distant father. He felt grateful she had shouldered the burden he had abandoned. Today, after 30 days away on business, Samuel sealed the final contract. Rising from his chair, he caught his reflection in the towering mirror's stern features, etched with weariness. A sudden impulse struck him. He wanted to return home unannounced, bearing a small surprise. Perhaps Emily would race into his arms. Maybe Michael would beam when held close. These thoughts softened his heart for the first time in months. Samuel grabbed his overcoat and departed swiftly before his assistant could pose another question. Luxury vehicles sped along the familiar route to his suburban mansion. That house had once echoed with joy, once pulsed with life. Now it served merely as a way station between his travels. Tonight felt different. He yearned to see his family. The ornate gates parted as Samuel stepped into the grand foyer. Everything seemed unnaturally quiet. Golden chandelier light spilled across marble flooring. He placed his briefcase on the entry table and shed his coat. Then, from somewhere deep within the house, he detected the faint sound of a child weeping. Michael's cries pierced the stillness. Samuel stood frozen. Amid those weak sobs, another trembling voice emerged, small and shattered. "Please don't hurt us anymore." Samuel's entire body went rigid. It was Emily, his daughter's voice choking with terror, pleading for mercy. His heart seemed to cease beating. He crept forward, following the corridor until he stopped just out of sight behind the living room doorframe. The scene that greeted him stole his breath. 6-year-old Emily sat huddled on the floor, her auburn hair matted, her rose-colored dress soiled with grime. Her delicate arms encircled Michael protectively. The infant's face blazed red, his cries unceasing, tiny fingers grasping desperately for his sister. Emily bowed her head, shoulders quaking. With fear, across from them, stood Veronica. She wore a fitted crimson dress, blonde hair styled to perfection, face heavily painted with cosmetics. But her voice bore no resemblance to the sweetness she displayed before Samuel. It sliced like broken glass. "Be quiet. How often must I repeat?" Myself? Stop bothering me. Disobey again, and I'll cast both of you onto the streets. Samuel rushed forward, positioning himself as a shield between Veronica and his children. Stop! His voice emerged, hoarse yet commanding. He reached out clumsily to lift Michael, his movements awkward after months without holding his son. At! Me take him. Emily, come to Daddy. The girl froze, fingers clutching her dress fabric. Samuel hesitated, his hand hovering in space before withdrawing, standing guard purely by instinct. A flash of malice crossed Veronica's features, sharp as a dagger. Instantly, it vanished behind her practiced, gentle smile. You've returned, simply teaching the children proper discipline. They were misbehaving terribly. She stepped closer, placing a feather-light touch on Samuel's jacket sleeve, her voice melting like honey. Darling, you must be exhausted. From your journey, don't become upset over momentary childish whining. The pediatrician said children require structure, didn't he? I've been with them constantly this month. I understand their patterns better than anyone. Samuel held Michael firmly, his throat burning with emotion. He glanced at Emily, witnessing the terror in her eyes, then back at Veronica's tender expression. She tilted her head, pressing her lips together in mock sympathy. Perhaps you simply feel guilty for being absent so long, making everything appear worse than reality. Don't burden yourself with unnecessary weight. Children mirror the adults surrounding them. The words flowed soft as a whisper, yet cut deep. As a blade, Samuel lowered his gaze, swallowing hard, speaking slowly while struggling for composure. I never want to hear crying like that in this house again. Veronica seized these words, twisting them into justification. Precisely. That's why I'll handle matters with the gentlest approach. Go shower, change into comfortable clothes. Don't let the children witness us in disagreement. It's harmful to their developing minds. She finished. She cast a sidelong glance at Emily. One subtle smirk was enough to make the girl lower her head in defeat. A serpent concealed beneath silk, and Samuel glimpsed it, though he couldn't name what he'd seen in time. He stood paralyzed, anger and guilt knotted together inside him. One agonizing question echoed through his mind: what have I just witnessed? Continuing with the rest of the story, maintaining the same paraphrasing approach while preserving the emotional journey, character development, and ultimate resolution, where Samuel protects his children, exposes Veronica's abuse, and rebuilds their family with love and justice.